Welcome back to Get Up and Grow. I was in my garden and it just wasn't spooky enough with Halloween around the corner. So I thought I'd bring in my good friend Gord from Wildwood Outdoor Living Centre.
Hi, Jazz.
Hi, Gord.
I can't say I'm going to make your garden any spookier for you,
right,
but I might make it a little spookier if you were an insect.
Okay, perfect. Let's scare those insects. What do we do?
Well, why don't we start with bats?
Yes, love it.
Bats got a bit of a bad rap that, no one likes bats. They're a bit scary.
They're always used in the Halloween
decor,
right?
They're always used in the Halloween thing, but they're fantastic for gardeners. They eat up to 1,000 bugs every night.
Wow.
Each bat. And you can put, have up to around 24 bats in a house like this.
That's amazing.
So you can put a bat house like this one up in a tree or on the end of a barn or a house or whatever you like to do. And if you put them out sort of in the spring and the summer when it warms up, you'll find that it'll populate by itself. Generally, if there's bats in the area, they'll come in. You can stick them out in the wintertime now too, but you may not see a whole lot of stuff going on.
Right, and how high does this need to be?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, you want to keep it up high enough to keep the predators away. So it should be up around 15 feet off the ground. And another important thing is to make sure that it's unobstructed, so the bats can get out. Have you ever seen those movies where all of a sudden the bats come flying out? Well, that's true. They all come flying out. And you got to make sure there's no branches or something in the way that they can run into. So they basically have a nice unobstructed way to get away from predators or just when they come out.
And we've got another one here as well.
Yeah, and these are, you've pointed out a great thing here with this other one, is that when the bats come, they grab onto these and then they scurry up into these little slots here. And it may seem like there's not a lot of room there, but actually these are perfect. They're about 3/4 of an inch to an inch, and they sort of just get right in there. They keep themselves warm. That's the other thing. You should put it in a warm area, not too hot, not blazing hot sun in the summer, but in a warmer area.
Perfect. And we do see bats in this area then?
We do. The little brown bat is around.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll see them. Sometimes you can see them at night. They've had a bit of a rough go with predators, and they've had some disease that's gone through them. So it's really nice to keep them in. And another interesting fact is that a lot of insects can actually hear the bats. So even if they don't eat all the insects go away, maybe to your neighbor's yard or something.
So it's there you go. So it's still scary, And here we've got another one. I think this is a DIY, do it yourself.
Absolutely, super easy. You can buy them as kits. You can actually find plans online if you want, and they're really easy to make. A lot of fun.
Okay, and I hear there's another way to scare insects, and it has something to do with this.
Right. So when we were looking at the nepenthes before, that was an indoor pitcher plant. These are outdoor pitcher plants. Okay. And they're going to scare the insects right into there, and then they're going to make a meal out of them.
So it's a little bit more than just scaring them. They're going to eat them.
They're going to eat them. So I'm going to actually cut one of these open and show you all the stuff.
Ooh, exciting. Oh, yep.
So
there it is.
I don't know if I'll try to squeeze it out like a pastry chef here.
Oh,
and you can see that is old insects.
Yep, that's a little, and you touched it. There it goes. That's a little gross.
There it is. That'll scare pretty.
That is very terrifying. I'm scared.
So that was a nice meal for this pitcher plant before I cut it open like this.
Yes, looks very appetizing. Okay, so what if I want to plant one of these?
Okay, well that's great. So what we would do is we would have, you can put them in a pot or in the ground. They're a bog garden kind of thing, so it needs a lot of moisture.
Right.
So what normally you do is you would have the bottom third of this filled up with sort of a mucky kind of stuff. And then what I'm going to do is get you to take some of this and mix it up with the sphagnum. And we're going to make a media so that we can plant this up.
Okay.
So if you just take a handful of that
like
and
that.
just mush it right in there.
Just like that?
Yeah, perfect.
Just like that?
Yeah, just make it all nice and mucky. And actually, right there is a good consistency.
Oh.
So take about half the soil and half of the moss.
Just like that?
Just like that. That's what you would use.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's good. So we would take this, we would pop it out of the pot.
Right.
You can see it's falling apart a little bit. And when I'm just going to stick it in here, we're going to cheat. We're going to pretend a little bit here. And that's where you stick it, and you just push the media around the sides. And we would
getting messy.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what it wants. It's like a nice boggy kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it'll grow in there, and then what'll happen is as it gets colder, it'll start to sort of die back and go dormant. So if it gets really cold here, as you can see, we've got it down a little bit farther.
Right.
And what we would do is we put some mulch over, just some bark mulch over top, just to protect it. And then in the spring, take the bark mulch off, clean up some of the dead pitchers, and then let it come out again. And what you'll see is when the plant comes up in the spring, it'll actually send a little flower up. Now there's not much here because this is the old stem, but it will actually have this nice pale yellow flower hanging down. It actually looks quite nice.
Okay, so there are cute parts. It's not all spooky.
Exactly.
Okay, and Gord, we've got a few other things here too. What are those for?
Well, some people don't like, every gardener's got their own mix that they want to try. So you can actually do this with a combination of peat moss and perlite and horticultural sand. You can do soil, peat moss, maybe a little bit of cactus mix and perlite. The main thing is that it holds the moisture and that it's still drained, so you do get some oxygen in there, but they basically are a heavy bog plant. So I just wanted to show the different types of stuff that you could use.
Well, perfect. I guess I could just use all those tips in my garden to make it a little bit spookier this Halloween.
Certainly could.
Thanks, Gord.
You're welcome.